outside is frightful, us horror fans find it so delightful. I don't know about the rest of you horror fans, but for me, I love watching horror films that take place in the snow. It offers up great opportunities for cinematic shots. It can be used for atmosphere, or it can be used as a hindrance. Either way, it's just so fun when you get to see snow splattered with contrasting blood. So, if you're like me and you enjoy some horror in the snow, go ahead, grab your favorite blankie and a nice cup of hot chocolate. This is a list of horror films that take place in the snow. 30 Days of Night. Snow is definitely a hindrance in the town of Barrow, Alaska. You see, a huge snowstorm is about to roll through the town, just as they're about to go through their annual 30 Days of Night. Unfortunately, the townsfolk are going to have a lot more to worry about than a huge snowstorm on its way. You see, during the 30 Days of Night, there's an alcohol ban! Eee!
No whiskey. No rum.
Alcohol's illegal this month. Folks have hard enough time in the dark without booze making it worse.
And if you thought no alcohol for 30 days was bad enough, a literal boatload of blood-craving vampires just docked in the small town. The townspeople must come together to endure the relentless attack from these ruthless vampires until the sun comes back up in 30 days. The Shining. An author decides to take a job as a caretaker at a gigantic hotel during the winter months with his family. He thinks that being in seclusion will help him while working on his new book. So what could go wrong, right? Unfortunately, cabin fever begins to set in, and the ghosts that haunt the place certainly aren't helping matters. Let the Right One In. Let the Right One In features a lot of snow, and the cinematographer definitely took advantage of that fact. The movie follows a young, social outcast, Oscar, whom is constantly being bullied at school, and his home life isn't much better. However, when a mysterious girl moves into his apartment complex, Oscar's life is about to be changed forever. Dead Snow. It is known that one of the greatest downfalls to the Axis campaign in World War II lay in the decision to try and take Russia during the dead of winter. However, if there's one thing the Norwegian film Dead Snow proves, it's that snowbound Nazis are just as formidable as ever if they happen to be zombies. A group of students on vacation in the frozen wilderness of the Oxford Hills finds this out when they disturb a cache of stolen gold that a Nazi commander and his men were cursed to guard for eternity. Devil's Pass. Want to see how quickly things can go downhill when you decide to go hiking through the snow with your buddies? Well, that's exactly what happens in Devil's Pass. A group of students decide to get together and investigate the location where the Dyatlov Pass incident occurred. Unfortunately, they get more than what they bargained for. Ginger Snaps 2. The snow isn't much of a factor in Ginger Snaps 2, but it sure looks pretty. In this sequel to one of the greatest werewolf flicks of all time, we primarily follow young Bridget, played by Emily Perkins, whom is trying to stall out the transformation into full-on lycanthrope. As you can imagine, things don't go as well as planned. Frozen. And no, we're not talking about the insanely popular Disney film. Focuses on a group of 3 friends that decide to hit the slopes. As the day grows long and the resort is about to close down, these kids inadvertently get stranded on a ski lift while trying to sneak in one more run before closing time. While the group tries their best to survive, you see just how quickly Mother Nature can make you her bitch. The Thing. Once again, if you're a fan of secluded horror films, you're going to love John Carpenter's classic, The Thing. After all, what could be more secluded than a research group stationed in Antarctica? Unfortunately, this group has absolutely no one to radio in for backup once they begin to realize that they've come across an alien force with a goal to assimilate each and every single member of their team. With an alien that can assimilate anything it comes into contact with at 100% accuracy, the group of men at Outpost 31 must come together in an attempt to figure out who's a human and who's an alien. If they fail, and the alien is able to leave the base and reach civilization, it's estimated that the entire world population will be affected after 27,000 hours from first contact. Dreamcatcher. A group of friends, each with their own special ability, decide to vacation back to their hometown. They plan on knocking back a few beers while at a cabin in a remote location. However, their wintry getaway begins to turn into a nightmare as a parasitic alien tries to inhabit each member of the group. Misery. Paul is an author that just finished the latest in his series of books. Fresh off the typewriter, Paul grabs his manuscript and is ready to get it out to his agent. Snow covers the main mountains, but he's not going to allow that to dissuade him from climbing into the seat of his Mustang and braving these icy mountains in an attempt to deliver the pages to his agent. Unfortunately for Paul, his vehicle loses traction as he veers off the mountain. Lucky for him, his #1 fan, Annie Wilkes, discovers his wrecked vehicle on the mountainside, and she just happens to be an ex-nurse. She takes Paul back to her house and saves his life. What at first may seem like a blessing turns into a nightmare, as Paul quickly discovers that Annie is a crazed fan that possesses a very dark past. And that's it, horror fans. So, what do you think of our list of horror films that take place in the snow? Have you seen any of these? Have you maybe not seen some of these? Let us know by leaving a comment below after you check them out. Either way, we hope you enjoyed the list. We hope you consider subscribing to the channel so we can bring you more great content in the future.